Good morning, everyone, from me.
And from me, Rodine.
Yeah, good evening.
Good evening.
I know, it always feels a bit bizarre. So that's why I always ask you to do the same too, so people know this is from, different things. Yeah, you see it as was ending your week. I see it as starting my week. So
That's right. That's right.
Hello. So today we want to talk about self-care as we do our art, because that's something so many of us don't do, lose sight of, forget, and don't think it's important. And I think something I've been also talking about, also as I'm writing in my Substack, oh God, I'm loving that platform to do writing and things like that. You've got so much freedom.
Are you?
Oh, it's so good. But I think the biggest thing for me, and I will be talking about it quite a bit, is about feeling safe.
Right. Hello. How did I do that again, Chantal? I'm so sorry. I checked the volume.
That's okay.
Okay.
Again, I think another one we're going to talk about is perfectionism, because again, it's like, why is it that we feel this? Oh, I'm so sorry. Really?
Yeah. Well, and then you get a little of that, how come you can't remember it? That's such a simple little thing. How come? Oh, whatever.
I know. I
didn't.
That's right.
I didn't.
Exactly. And this is why there's another topic we're going to talk about. There's a lesson to be learned. I think we'll be doing that next week, because again, we're tossing up everyone who's watching or watching the replay. What are your thoughts on that? But we'll come back to that, because today was going to be about self-care. Mind you, we can segue into the other, but I think we'll leave that, because it is about how do we care for ourselves in this time. And I think this does tie in with what you're saying. How do we care for ourselves when those little gremlins come out to play?
Mm-hmm.
But you were saying, because you've been at school last week, your school year started again.
Yes. First week back, I had 3 days with my kiddos. One of my grade 6s are kind of new to me, as a teacher in my classroom, and had a great week with them. I really enjoy them. And I also, because of course I had to take time off work, I have to balance for myself how much work is going to go into my day and when I'm going to cut that off, because I need to have time in my day too, right?
Yeah.
And this week was pretty easy because I was prepared, and no curveballs happened. So that was awesome. But this weekend was so nice because I had my grandson, and I did lots of puttering. And when you're so used to, speaking of perfectionism, right, or even self-judgment, right, holding ourselves to some kind of ideal or within a framework that we used to have, and when you have to restructure all those things, man, I tell you, you have to be so aware, right? And so this weekend, I had to do some puttering, and it took me all day today to clean my kitchen, to pull things out of the pantry and mop the floors properly. And I would take breaks, and I allowed myself to just enjoy the break. It's like, go sit outside on the deck and enjoy some sunshine, right? Do a little bit and then go sit outside, or do a little bit and go do something else. And it was really enjoyable. And it made me think of us talking about awesome and awe in the mundane. Because cleaning your floor, mopping your floor, right, moving stuff around, that's such a mundane, boring, basic kind of thing to do. And yet, found it enjoyable. I'm not going to go so far as to say fun, but I found it really enjoyable, and it did feel good. But it felt good just because I allowed myself to flow in and do, and then flow out. And so that was my day. And, it is funny. I don't know, for anybody who's watching, have you had moments like that? Or have you been in a situation where you finally just allow yourself to do it how it's going to get done? And if you have, I'd love to know like what it was and how you felt. Because I'm still getting used to, restructuring so much in my head and in my life, right? So I don't know. There you go.
There you go. And I think it is. It's unwounding the wound, really, or it's unpacking it all. And it can be generational. It can be past lives. It can be societal, church, school, all those things. Because two things you said. One thing, I wrote a blog years ago, and was on my website, which I've let go of. I'm going to write it again. It's about seeing the ordinary, making the ordinary extraordinary, because that's what I've been taught through mindfulness, my teachings and meditation. Yeah. So like you said, see those things as different. So like when I clean the home, again, fun or not fun, you can dance to it, but I go into every room and give thanks for this beautiful space that I have with my partner. And all the lovely things. Yeah, I mean, I mumble and grumble because, I've got to get under the bed and, do this and do that and whatever else, sure. But there's this whole difference. And like, because my partner also feels energy in that. He knows if he's been out, he comes home and can feel the shift of energy. So it's like you clearing your kitchen out. There's a decluttering, there's a shift of energy. There's a whole, it's beautiful. And also I sit there with pride. Look at me, look what I did. And the reason why I say that is because, again, I'm starting to write, we don't celebrate these small wins. Because for me, my PTSD started, or the pain started when I had that severe whiplash. So I don't always talk about the severe whiplash because it was really violent. It was just unbearable. And I had some form of headache for nearly 4 years. So this is really the first time I've gone fully public with it. And so because of the whiplash, and it was right up the top here, and I could hardly move. I couldn't even move my head a tiny bit without this whole head exploding into this incredible pain. But why I'm saying that is because for a long time, I was unable to literally lift my arm up. So I couldn't vacuum, which actually wasn't too bad at the time. But at the time, I preferred to vacuum than have the pain, let me tell you. I couldn't hang up the laundry. I just couldn't do ordinary things without ending up debilitated for a few days. So, again, it's, and like you said, it took me a while to truly understand. At that point, I didn't really get self-care like I do now, and self-soothing, because also those words weren't used, and I prefer caring for self. I kept pushing because I didn't want to believe that I was so incapacitated, because I'm meant to be this strong, independent and businesswoman. At that point, I was presenting my lovely natural skincare to the world, yet here I was, this mess, bags under my eyes, and, not wanting to go out. So looking back now, of course, what that did was hinder my progress, hinder my, because of course we are stubborn, aren't we? We want to keep going. We want to, it also perhaps, we have this false notion of, I can do this, I'm all right. So yes. It's really, really powerful. Whereas now, oh my God, I do it like you, I just do it because, I no longer even question, I just do it. It's because I think, like you said, once you start changing the way you think, but not in the way you think, but how you feel in your body. So I'm going to keep talking about this as well. You just do it because you can and want to. You listen, you just do it. And it's part of your life now. In fact, for me, it's pretty much non-negotiable.
That's very true. If you think about it, how powerful is that to make something so important, non-negotiable for us? to give ourselves permission to do that for us in our own way, without feeling the need or letting go of the need to make it look okay or feel okay based on the outside.
Yeah,
right?
exactly. Exactly. So we can take that mask off. We can take that pretense off.
Yeah.
Not only that, this comes back to another word I'm sure we'll use a lot, is love. Because I used to understand, what does that mean, love? You know, self-love. And, you know, I thought all these words were catchy phrases. But in the end, when you really can let go of the guilt, feeling selfish, what will other people think? Because we get caught up in all of that, because that's how we've been brought up, you know, keep up appearances. Did you ever, oh no, not in Canada, we may have, used to be in England, this fabulous program, Keeping Up Appearances.
We got it here. I loved it.
Wasn't it fantastic? Mrs. Bucket, Mrs. Bouquet.
Yes. Mrs. Bouquet.
Mrs. Bouquet. She was so ridiculous. But that was such a good way of showing how we keep up appearances no matter what's going on. So therefore, we don't talk about, how many of us therefore feel too embarrassed, too shy or ashamed to actually say how we are feeling. So there's still that stigma around mental health and not coping and overwhelmed. No matter how much we talk about it, we can still feel, oh, no, or it's not that bad. So again, comparisonitis and things like that.
Yeah.
Because often I don't know about, you know, you don't have a benchmark. So when you have something big happen, you don't have a benchmark to, in a way, compare yourself to understand what this is going. Everything I'm sure you would say the same. Everything I talk about now for everyone who's listening is because I've learned it through my lived experience, through the psychologist, through my own training as a counselor, through all the reading. This didn't just come because this has taken time then to integrate it all into my life.
And boy, does it ever take time, doesn't it?
Oh my God, does it ever? And then again, we start to whip ourselves because, hey, it's not happening fast enough.
Or smoothly enough, or something enough.
That's exactly right. That's exactly right. So exactly right. And how can we just be with, and I think it's coming back to the art, you know, it's like, it's not happening fast enough, or, you know, the colors aren't going right. Or again, so how can we just envelop ourselves in this beautiful bubble or aura of just care, love, just delightness, you know, warmth, nurturing, you know, all those things that, you know, I was going, oh, I don't need that. Oh, you know, I began to feel uncomfortable with it. Also, because when my body was in such pain, I couldn't bear you touching me. Like even when my partner, I couldn't even bear him doing this when I was in my pain, because the bathroom became my best friend. You know, and, you know, I couldn't bear his breath on me. That's how bad it was, you know. And I think, and thank you for giving me the space to share this, and anyone who is sharing that, to know that you can have that extreme pain and reach out. Yes, I had an amazing GP, fantastic psychologist, you know, and a beautiful chiropractor who worked with energy and worked with me, because again, you need to feel safe. So initially I needed the care to come from external.
Yes. Yeah.
I only just had that realization. It had to come extra, because at that point I had no clue about anything or anyone, or any, you know, self-care. I didn't know what it even meant.
What an amazing journey for you.
Thank you.
If you like really think about it. I was thinking and imagining, because I have for the past I don't know, maybe almost a year-ish, I've had lots of like constant muscle pain going on. And so thinking of you, and with the head pain, with that, and those things that you couldn't do, and then to think of the journey that you must have had to take for that to get to us sitting here today. Like not just the physical journey, but your inner journey too, right? That's pretty miraculous, I think.
Thank you. And I feel teary, and I can feel myself going into the rejection of that. Because I don't want to sound like again, it's this irony. And I'm just going to say thank you. And I'm going to take that in my heart. And it made me a bit weepy because as I'm, writing my memoir and just realizing how far I've come. But again, I can still feel that it wasn't that bad, or, was I making it up? So all those things. So I very rarely share, as I said, well, I haven't shared those first 2 years in particular after the car accident. Oh, I can't believe I'm even going down this track. I had violent headaches or a headache of some sort every single day. That was the first 2 years, and up to 4 years, they petered out. In addition, so again, coming back to self-care, I had no idea how, as I said, I had external. Then I had about 5 infections, never had infections. So I went on antibiotics because my immune system, now looking back, see, my immune system was so down. I didn't know what bronchitis was. I didn't know what gas. I had all these different things. Then to make it even more exciting, I got dengue fever. Yeah, on top of it after 2 years. And then, I was an absolute mess. Oh my God. Yeah. So I think what this shows you is, again, and this is why I'm loving these conversations and the rawness, and thank you, is that there's somewhere in us a resilience that we're not always aware that we have. Even though at the time I didn't feel that resilient or felt I had inner strength, but and this is, again, important, having someone you trust reflect back to you, thank you, to see there was an inner strength there that I had lost sight of.
Yes.
So I was just too busy struggling with, getting out of bed and pain. And it was horrible.
Sounds pretty horrible.
Really? It was. It was.
When you think of doing those hard things, which for you, or doing any hard thing, so for anybody who's going through something where it's hard, the fact that we do somehow manage to get up in the morning and do, some days it's the bare minimum that you can manage to do for yourself, and that might be going to the bathroom, right? And then going back to bed.
That's it.
Isn't that amazing that we do it, though? Really, like, truly amazing.
Yeah. Yes. Because at that point, you just want to stay under the covers and in bed. You don't want to face the world. You don't want to get out. And that's right. I remember at the time, a coach saying to me, because I just started my business. And so, of course, I was pushing myself, and something she said, and I was crying my eyes out because I was feeling, again, pathetic and weak, and I'm not coping, and blah, 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 and watching everyone else doing so well. She said something to me, and I'm going to share it again for anyone who may have already heard me say this. She actually said to me, we are going to celebrate the fact that you got out of bed, you had a shower, you put on your, because I was going, oh my God, all I could do is PJs to shower to comfies to couch. She said, we're celebrating that. And I've always remembered that. So we've got to celebrate every single moment. My GP would celebrate me. My psychologist would celebrate me for every little step that even just turning up at an appointment when I couldn't even get in the car. So like you said, we need to start honoring this, because I don't know if we've talked about this before. So we need to honor. I realized, again, I want to, particularly running a business or anything anyway, we look at success as the monetary things. We look at success and manifestation. We manifest what we want in life. It might be the home, the this is and that is. But something I realized recently was, why don't we ever talk about success of what we've come through, emotions, physically come through, mentally and spiritually? We never, because there's no KPIs, as they say, no key indicators. There's no, you can't say, oh, I've earned this amount of money and it's in my bank account. so how do we share that? Because that's not honored. That's not thought of anything. And I realized I manifested my health. I manifested where I am today.
Yes.
You know,
that's so true. And I'm having a little, I somewhere this week, actually, I saw something or I read something, and there was a similar thought in there about manifesting and how we manifest those internal things for ourselves as well, but they're not valued, right? Or these, it does so often seem to be about the external things, but what about manifesting, feeling differently this week than you did last week or last month or last year?
Or even 5 minutes ago.
Yeah.
Because sometimes when I was at my worst, I learned this through my meditation teacher at the time. It was so good. He taught me all these different things. Sometimes you can only go breath by breath. That's how, when I was at my worst, I could only go breath by breath. You know, I couldn't even do, because in the 12-step program, they say, you know, sometimes one day at a time. Then you break it down to half a day at a time, an hour. Well, I broke it down. This is what I say to people. I broke it down sometimes just every breath I took. Yeah.
Wow.
So I segued you off there because I said, c'est la vie, c'est la whatever.
That's right.
Yeah. So thank you. And I think it's, again, anyone who's watching and sharing, just share something that you would like to celebrate. And again, this is why we're talking about this, no matter, please, how small it is, because again, we can't compare ourselves.
No, and some of those, what we think are small things, are actually really big, important things in our self-care.
Exactly. And just because it might be big for me is not for you. So again, it's how can we accept each other in society, be without judgment, be with empathy, because some people might go, God, really getting out of bed. Yeah, you know, whereas for someone else, it might be whatever it might be, you know, because I look back now and think, God, how could I have not gotten out of bed? But there was a physical aspect, the emotional aspect, the depression, the not feeling safe, all those things came into play, you know. Whereas now I don't have them anymore. And I still rejoice. That I don't have some form of headache, that my body's strong again. I can move my neck, but that took time. And now I still rejoice. I still give thanks all these years later that my body now, my temper, my spirit's got somewhere to land. It's stronger, but I also know when to stop. That's again part of self-care. So again, you were saying that you did this on the weekend. You knew when to stop and have a cuppa. You knew when to stop to just, you know,
Yep.
And why not?
Lovely.
Exactly. And yet we crave it. So I don't know about you. So again, I think we do this. We crave it, but we keep putting it off. Because again, I believe, and when I look back for myself, or particularly after that, beforehand, it was just do, because you keep running.
Yeah.
You're on this, it's being lazy. Whereas now, I love sitting there, you know, love sitting with my hot cuppa. Oh, and I really enjoy it now. You know, I feel it, because I have a hot chocolate, you know, and I really enjoy the sensation. So again, it's coming back to being truly present, mindful, you know, right present here in that moment, you know. Oh, isn't that just wonderful, you know? Yum.
Yep.
So there you go. So what are you going to do this week, now that it's your second week, to care for yourself?
I have other rooms in my house that need to be dejunked and like really, really cleaned and organized. And so I'm just going to kind of steadily plunk away at it in my own way, because I'm not a one room at a time kind of person, right? So, when I went down to do laundry, I was looking through clothes. It's like, do you really need this? No, so I'm all over the place with
Yes,
that. And I'm just going to keep going and keep being all over the place, because that's what I do.
because that's what, and that again, who said we all, I love it. Because my partner and I, we are off out to what we call the outback. We are going for, it's going to be a 3-day road trip to go and find wildflowers, because it's that season. Finally, 30 years it's taken me to do that. So we are just going to go and enjoy, and we are going to be without, most of the time, I think, without internet or part of, it doesn't matter. We're just going to go and enjoy. So this week, that's my self-care with him, and we're just getting in our SUV. Off we go into the vastness of our land and the colors, because our land is rusty red, and the most magnificent flowers come out. So we're hoping we'll see them. I mean, it's an adventure, doing something different, getting in the car and just going off together. So I'm looking forward to that. So I'm looking forward to sharing photos and just experiencing, because we can.
Excellent.
Because why not?
Right?
Yeah. So it's good stuff.
Good.
So,
well, I'm looking forward to seeing those pictures.
Thank you. Yeah, it's going to be good. It's going to be, I'm looking forward to it. And I think it's like with a lot in Australia, because it's so vast, so you can't get the concept from a photo until you've been there,
Right.
Whereas a mountain is a mountain, a lake is a lake. But this land is just so, it's amazing. It's amazing. So yes, thank you. Oh, I think we've already hit our time. I can't believe it, We could keep on trucking. Keep on trucking. So, oh my goodness, I don't know what you've done. I decided, I thought a while ago through a group that I'm in, this wonderful botanicals are very, very easy. Very, very easy things, because I'm learning, I still need visuals. So it just shows you easily how to just create leaves and different flowers and things like that. And it's good for me when I'm doing this, because I can't concentrate on anything difficult. So I just that's what I sort of did, played with a bit of color and,
Oh, that's beautiful.
Yeah, it's fun.
Nice.
Yeah, and again, look at that. What's that on?
This is on a piece of, I think, shale rock.
Oh, wow.
So I do these kind of abstracty northern lights. So I'm laying down the background, and then I'll varnish this when it's done, but I'll get everything painted. And I thought I would try that today, because I have a whole bunch of these rocks of various sizes. So
How wonderful. And that's and for me, it's showing me other things I can do down the track, potential, just what else is out there. And that's what makes this so exciting, to see what other people are doing, the creativity, and how it can be part of self-care. Okay, we are going to stop, but I had to learn how to, I literally had to learn how to see it as fun and not be perfectionist and all that, and just come in and enjoy, and just part of the presence and enjoying. Intuition, flow, creativity, beautiful. It really is something beautiful. And again, being able to do it your own way. And I think, like you said, you put it in the post, knit, crochet, doodle, whatever. Because last week I learned how to do markings.
Oh, yeah.
So I'm learning how to do markings, little things like that. That can be enough. So thank you, everyone, yet again, for either joining us in some other way. And look, if you've got any topics you'd like us to chat about and sort of nosy around, and let us know, because we'd love to, I'm sure we'll have plenty, but it's always nice just to be able to, someone else might have something lovely for us to talk about too.
Exactly.
Have a great week, everyone, and thank you so much for being here.
Bye.
Bye.